USC, Notre Dame, Kansas State, Texas, and the Civil War all next week. Still a decent slate of games in Week 12 of college football. Mark Rogers TV on our college football predictions, where we are 20-10 against the spread in our confidence picks. Again, 20-10 confidence picks against the spread. We've got two coming up this week. You usually like to hit on 3 or 4, but basically the SEC's given us nothing. Basically a bye week for the SEC. This is what we mean. Alabama, Western Carolina, Georgia, Georgia Southern, Florida, Jacksonville State. Of course, the Gators against Louisiana Lafayette last week. Not exactly a give-me. Texas A&M against Sam Houston State, and South Carolina Wofford. So take all the favorites there. No lines in those games. But the SEC needs to take care of scheduling. It's mid-November, and they've got to have some meaningful games on the slate. They can't play a Week 1 schedule in Week 12. It makes no sense, and they need to get that straightened out for future seasons. All right, let's move on to number 1 in the land. Kansas State taking on Baylor in Waco. The Baylor Bears with the number 1 passing offense in college football, also one of the worst defenses in college football. Kansas State continues to roll. They're too disciplined, too tough, mentally tough as well. They get the job done, but we like Baylor plus the 12.5 points against Kansas State in Waco. Oregon and Stanford, possibly the biggest and best game matchup-wise in the land, and Stanford's still a 20.5 point favorite. The voters and the odds makers love that Oregon offense. Case in point, last week, Cal was playing extremely well against Oregon. Oregon making mistakes, leading 24-17 in the third quarter, and just like that, they can go on a run. They can score 4 touchdowns in 3 or 4 minutes and turn any game into a rout. So Stanford at 20.5, we still like the Cardinal. Kevin Hogan, inserted at quarterback a few weeks ago, playing very well for the Cardinal. The Cardinal rush defense has not seen anything like the Ducks, of course, but at 58 yards given up per game by the Stanford defense. They're sound, they're disciplined. Yes, they're overmatched physically in terms of speed, but they slow down Oregon. The Cardinal kept it within 24-17. Yeah, we understand a guy named Luck was playing in that game, but again, 24-17 last year. So we like Oregon to win the game. Too much speed, too many playmakers on offense, but Stanford plus the 20.5 points in that one. Notre Dame, can they finally dominate a game? Last week, 19-point favorite. Yeah, they slugged it out against the BC, and they won easily in a sense, but didn't put the foot down on the throttle, a 21-6 game. This time, Wake Forest getting blown out by anybody decent in the ACC, meaning Florida State, Clemson, and NC State. So we like Notre Dame. And again, we're going to predict Notre Dame to actually put down the throttle and get the job done. Notre Dame minus 24 against Wake. LSU Ole Miss in similar fashion to what LSU did last week at home against Mississippi State. They've got an 18.5 point spread to cover, and they get the job done. Ole Miss puts up a fight, but LSU better in the fourth quarter, and they cover 18.5 points. We've got Florida State and Maryland. Maryland was given 31 against Clemson last week. They lost by 35. They're getting 31 against Florida State, this time at home, and we like Maryland plus the 31 points. We didn't learn our lesson from last week. Take the Terps plus the 31 points. Clemson and NC State. We know what happened with them and the Noles in Raleigh. NC State, similarly, a 17.5 point underdog against Clemson. Well, we like NC State to keep it close. Clemson wins the game. Take NC State plus the 17.5. Oklahoma, West Virginia. This looked to be possibly a game for the Big 12 championship a month ago, but West Virginia has lost 4 straight. Oklahoma's lost some key games as well. The Sooners have the defense to make this a rout. They're going to Morgantown, though. Great offensive shootout here. Oklahoma, of course, will be able to make enough stops to win the game, but we like the Mountaineers plus 11 points there against Oklahoma. Nebraska-Minnesota. Nebraska possibly distinguishing itself as the best eligible team in the Big Ten after close wins against Michigan State and Northwestern and Penn State last week. Wisconsin. Nebraska, not a dominant football team by any stretch of the imagination, but they got Minnesota at home. The Gophers are an improved football team, but we like Nebraska minus the 20 against the Golden Gophers. We've got Oregon State taking on Cal. Cal put up a fight for close to three quarters against Oregon. We like Oregon State, the much better football team in this one, but Cal gets 14.5 points. Oregon State typically plays decent teams close, so take the 14.5 with the Bears. USC and UCLA means a whole lot this year. It's nice to see. I grew up watching this game, the LA rivalry for the Victory Bell, and it usually meant a whole lot in the Pac-10 at the time, and finally it means something again. USC has dominated this series as of late, as UCLA has been garbage, but the Bruins under Jim Mora at 8-2, and yeah, they can play football, and this is going to be a game. People assume that Oregon's going to have to face USC in the Pac-12 championship game. Not necessarily. UCLA will play this one tough, but with an NFL caliber quarterback in Matt Barkley and, of course, Marquise Lee, who ripped the Bruins last year, 13 catches, 224, and, of course, Robert Woods and the other weapons that the Trojans have. Can't see them losing to UCLA, but I would not be shocked if that happened. Take USC. Give UCLA the 3.5. So I'm looking at this one as razor tight. USC and Barkley win it late. Take the Bruins in the 3.5. USC wins the football game. Louisiana Tech and quarterback Colby Cameron. He's got 27 touchdowns, no picks this year. And also, interesting here, he has set the all-time record with 419 consecutive pass attempts without a pick, breaking Russell Wilson's record. So we like Louisiana Tech, despite the horrid defense and Utah State playing for a Midwest Conference championship. We like their defense. They're 6th in the country in points against. But Louisiana Tech at home getting 3.5. And with the explosive offense and Dixon at running back with 24 rookie touchdowns, that's a freshman record. We like Louisiana Tech to win the football game, so take the 3.5 as well. All right, Michigan, Iowa in the big house. Of course, the Wolverines rooting for a Nebraska loss that could move them into the championship game with 2 wins to close out the season. Take the Wolverines minus the 17. We like Kevin Gardner at quarterback in place of Denard Robinson against Iowa. Huge game in the Big East. Rutgers-Cincinnati. The Bearcats have an offense. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights struggle on offense, but they've got the sound defense. Rutgers goes into Cincinnati, pulls off a slight upset. And this one, again, huge in the Big East with Cincinnati with 1 loss. Rutgers undefeated in conference play. We like Rutgers in a confidence pick, getting 6.5. Take the Scarlet Knights plus the 6.5 against Cincinnati, and the Scarlet Knights pull off the upset as well. Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. This game last year, 66-6 Cowboys, but a couple guys named Whedon and Blackman onto the NFL, so this one may be a bit closer. We do like Texas Tech to cover the 11 points. Take Oklahoma State straight to win at home in Stillwater. And finally, another confidence pick. Colorado getting crushed every week. Check out the scores. Everybody kills them. Washington at 6-4 has moved into the top 25. The Huskies on the road at Colorado. Doesn't matter where the Buffs play. Everybody beats them. Look at the last 6 weeks and the last 7 of 8. They've lost every game by at least 25 points. The Huskies continue the trend. Take Washington minus 20.5 in a confidence play at Colorado against the Buffaloes. So there you go. We've got Washington minus 20.5 in a confidence pick, and also our other confidence pick, Rutgers at Cincinnati Scarlet Knights plus the 6.5 points there. Those are our picks. Again, we love to hear your predictions on this week's big college football games here on Mark Rogers TV.